This is Magnify Mercy, bringing second message in the new year. And I'm taking it from Genesis chapter 1 and verse 1. It says, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth." Now, this message is regarding the new year. But what we have to understand that before the new year began, God was. And that is what Genesis is going to first tell us. In the beginning, God. In other words, God is the author of beginnings. That before the beginning began, God was. And therefore, before our life began, God was. Before this year began, God was. God, therefore, is the author. He's the Alpha, the Omega, the beginning and the end. He is the one that was present before day one of the earth was done. In other words, before time has a clock, before space has a boundary, before matter had form, God already was. Therefore, that whatever that this year is going to bring is in the hands of God. He is the beginning of this year. And if God is in our beginning, then He is going to create a year that is suitable, that will conform to His plan and His purpose. God is not just in years. He made years. He made time. He made everything. And before time began, God was. He is the author that authored them all. And therefore, we have to understand that this year, 2026, is also in the authorship of the living God. And therefore, if we trust God, we can understand that He is the one that initiated the year. Before we clock 12 a.m. on 2026, God was in the year already, making plans for us in the year. The next thing is said, God created. In other words, that God initiated and make things happen. He created. And creation was done out of nothing. In other words, God had no materials, God had no assistance, God had no structure, God has no blueprint, but He created. What I'm trying to tell you is that God doesn't need your assistance, God doesn't need any input of ours or ours, God doesn't need any structure that we will make or create. God doesn't need any blueprint that is submitted by us, which we call our New Year resolution. God doesn't need any materials, or if we can get this much money and get this job and get this help and get this support and get this open door. God doesn't need any of that to make this year a year of success. He stepped out of nothing and created everything. There is a Latin word called ex nihilo. Ex nihilo means that out of nothing. Out of nothing, God made everything. And so I want you to understand that this year, God doesn't need your past to cooperate or align with your future. He doesn't need things to fall or help. He doesn't need our help to make it work. And therefore, we come with a trust in the God who stepped out of nothing and made everything. Out of nothing, everything became. Put things right and created things in the right perspective. And that is what Genesis chapter 1 verse 1 is telling, that in the beginning God created. And this year God is going to create a year, a year without any input, any material, and any of our assistance. Hand it over to God. He doesn't need us to create things. We put it in His hands. He will create favor. He'll create healings, provisions, and purpose, and plans, and all things initiate and come from Him. He creates everything, and He will create it. Now, the third part we see there is that in the heaven and the earth, He created the heaven and the earth. The heaven is the unseen realm. The earth is the visible realm. And both of them God created. He created them, in other words, he created the unseen and the seen. Yet both of them were made by him. And both of them was made to harness together, but yet he separated them into different expanse and different realms. In other words, God put order in place. The unseen is not mixed with the seen, but the unseen is separate from the seen. God is able to create order. This year is not going to be a convoluted year where everything is happening, chaos and confusion and bad and good, all things. God is able to separate, is able to set apart and set patterns and set order in our life. And what do we need more than order? Because if our life works by order and things is in order, there is no chaos, there are no things all mixed up and all things happening all at the same time. We are able to live life, concentrate, focus, and do what we ought to do. So I will add 2 more points to this. I also see that God created by sovereign authority. God didn't consult anyone. He didn't get any interference or interruption from anyone. When he said that I am going to create, no one was able to say, no, you wouldn't. No one was able to say, well, you have to wait. He didn't have to endure delay or oppositions. In other words, what I'm trying to tell you is that this year, God is in authority. If he says he's going to bless you, he's going to make a way for you, he's going to lead you, he's going to make it happen for you. He doesn't need the government or need somebody or need the devil or need anybody to agree or disagree. He doesn't need the spirit of delay who don't like you, who like you to say, no, not this year, not this time. If God said this is your year, it's your year. And so trust, once again, trust the creator, trust the author that he is sovereign, he is powerful, and he is able. Now, my final point is that if God created the first year, he can create this one too. Trust him, leave everything in his hands, and work with him. Go by his leading. And if he say, wait, if he is, we look at the rest of creation, the first day was what he did. The second day, he did something different. And throughout the times of creation, he sequenced things and made things according to his own plan and his liking. Trust God this year. Put your life in his hands. Trust him. Work with him. Pray. Seek him. And I understand that the God that is the same yesterday, Hebrew 13:8, God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. If he was the creator yesterday, he is the creator today, and he will be the creator in the future. We can trust him, walk and work with him, and he will pull it off. We don't have to start with anything to get everything. We don't have to connect and align with anything for it to be in alignment. We don't have to set things in order for God to let it be in order. He created order. He created without materials. He spoke and it came to happen. And so, why don't you continue to trust him, believe in him, continue to put everything in his hands, pray, seek him, seek his direction, and he would put a year together, creating a wonderful, marvelous, and successful year for you, which you never ever imagined. God is creating what doesn't exist before. God is speaking order into your year. God is not limited by your past. God is the beginning and the builder of 2026. And I say, for now, this year will respond to the voice of the living God. Shout a big amen. This is Magnify Mercy Our new second message will come your way with another message and another message. So like it, share it, subscribe it, and push the notification so when the next one comes up, you catch it at the front seat. God bless you. Magnify mercy. We'll see you in the next message. God bless.